The year 2019. Who am I, you may ask? Well, I'm a straight shooter, Jova Hexian Aix Joranvexian. Friends call me Ace, and my deeper friends call me Jova. As you know, it was 2019. Seemed like a bit of a dark time on the horizon after an already bleak 2018. I was called in for a homicide case, media-driven. Suspects in question were Sony Pictures, at it again, with the crime boss himself, Avi Arad. It was supposed to be a touching little picture, one of a beloved character everyone fought, until the problems came. Oh, there were problems indeed. We all thought it would fail, but the opposite happened. It succeeded and made money, killing many's hopes in the industry. That's what brought me today, to see this sad little picture of this victim. That's what brought me, Detective Hexian, in with my buddies, Tio Skavin, and of course the one who called it in, the chief himself, Pedro Duarte. You may wonder why the story sounds familiar, because you're in it right now. So, Pedro, what exactly is this crime scene of a masterpiece we see before us today?
Welcome everybody to Venom by Sony Pictures. Basically, everybody, despite Homecoming making a lot of money being critically acclaimed, Sony still refuses to accept the fact that they don't know how to make Spider-Man movies. Spider-Verse notwithstanding, and even with Spider-Verse. I most attribute that to Phil Lord and Chris Miller. That movie is great because of them, not because of Sony.
Maybe it has to do with the fact that movie is also made in association with Marvel Studios, but Sony made to make sure that was as minusculely known as possible.
I mean, let's not forget that Phil Lord and Chris Miller themselves have already said that Sony is terrible to work for in the movie industry. Like it was in those documents that were leaked back in the day.
And of course, the producer at the helm is once again Avi Arad. You know, the guy who was responsible for executive mandates that got Amazing Spider-Man 2. And as he's now finally, he finally confessed to during the making of this movie, he was responsible behind a lot of the problems with Spider-Man 3. Gee, who'd have imagined?
Yeah, basically, Avi Arad has this really, really weird and unhealthy obsession with Venom, and he really wants to shove Venom into our faces as much as he can. He forced Sam Raimi to put Venom in Spider-Man 3, even though he didn't want to. He basically also handled, for the most part, the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and those didn't turn out all that well as well.
And there's also rumors that Venom was supposed to come back from the dead in Spider-Man 4, which was going to star the Lizard and Carnage, also a symbiote.
Fortunately for Homecoming, Amy Pascal took away his control and gave it to Kevin, so that Kevin could actually make a good Spider-Man movie for a change.
That's something good she did.
And unfortunately, and yes, like I said, we had Spider-Verse right in the same year as this, but unfortunately, Avi Arad is still around, and here's our result: Venom. Finally, he made the Venom movie. This was his big passion project, everybody. This is the one. I'm sure this is going to be Avi Arad's big masterclass.
And how was this movie first received when we saw the first trailers of it? People freaking loathed it. The sight of it. The only good thing they gave was that the effects looked decent, and even still that was a snippet. Then came the second trailer, which made it look more like a biodrama film that had nothing to do with Spider-Man.
One of the weird things is that for almost the entirety of the marketing campaign, both Sony and Marvel adamantly refused to state if this movie was set in the MCU or not. And when it finally came out, it was clear that it was its own standalone thing, which, I don't know, it doesn't really make sense because of a gigantic lot of factors. Mainly of all, there's no Spider-Man in this story. Yeah,
I'm sorry. I came here to see Venom.
It's not here.
Not
only that, the problem should start to arise by the fact that this movie has 3 people for the screenplays and 2 for writing the stories. A total of 5 people mix and matching this thing. Needless to say, stuff was cut and the movie rewritten multiple times.
Yes, Tom Hardy himself said that 40 minutes of footage were cut off. And trust me, everybody, when you watch it, it shows.
Oh, it gets
Not
even
only
better.
that,
But anyway, that might as well start. So, all right, so basically, everybody, it started at 0 right before the Sony logo, which will lead into Columbia logo and Marvel logo. Easy stuff. So boot up your. All right, straight yourselves in. 3, 2, 1, click.
And as
yeah,
you Oh, go on.
originally this was supposed to be an R-rated movie, which, considering the character of Venom, it makes a lot of sense if you ask me. But no, they
Unfortunately,
want
that
to
wouldn't
make...
be as financially pleasing as.
Never mind the fact that Deadpool will prove 2 times when you can do that, but whatever.
And even
Venom is
Deadpool
still a
made a
very
PG-13
beloved 90s
movie.
icon.
You
yeah,
know,
actually, Deadpool 2 was Peggy for. Sorry, the Deadpool 2 was technically PG-13, but yeah, I know what you mean.
well, no. Actually, Pedro, here's how it went. There are 2 cuts of Deadpool 2 that got released in the theaters.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot
Earlier
about
in
the
summer, there's the
R-rated
original
Blu-ray
R-rated
cuts, yeah.
version, and then for Christmas, they released a Merry Deadpool, which was basically Deadpool 2 for PG-13. Why? Because, well, short
There you
answer,
go.
money.
In association with Marvel. So I guess from now on, Sony will always have that in association with Marvel
Because
logo.
of the deal. Well, unless the rumors about Apple buying Sony reveals to be true, but it's still way too early to judge that.
Oh yeah, basically, folks, as of now, there are growing rumors that Apple is buying Sony, and apparently, if Apple do buy Sony, then the film rights to Spider-Man revert to Marvel.
Completely.
Which, judging off of what I've heard of this movie, could be a godsend. Now,
Yeah.
here's the thing about
Don't
this
get me wrong.
movie.
Don't get me wrong. Spider-Verse was fantastic, but it's only because Sony hired Chris and Phil. Like Marvel could have done just the same as well. So
For
it's not
the
like
two
it's not like
people-
it's not like Sony is necessary for good
For the-
Spider-Man movies.
For the 2 people in the audience who don't know who Venom is, character created in 1993 by David Michelini and Todd McFarlane, in case you're wondering, the creator of Spawn, which makes a lot of sense with design. Basically, a symbiont.
I'm sorry, are they talking about the spaceship or are they talking about the movie and the development how it was going through?
How about both? Anyway, yeah, basically everybody, this is one of those movies where it's not like an abomination of any sort. If anything, it's more bland than anything. But however, it is fun. I don't like the first act though. Like the second and third acts are much more entertaining, but the first act I don't really like it because it's for the most part just bland romance as you're about to see.
Me and Jove are coming in relatively blind about this. Anyway, point being, he has been ever since a mainstay villain or character for Spider-Man himself. But the problem is, he's directly tied to the character of Spider-Man, which is not in this movie.
Which means, of course, that the origin story has to be changed. Instead of being JJ's son, the astronaut in an expedition, instead it's just a evil corporation, as you guys are about to see later. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, meet our villain. That's our villain.
Wait, that's our villain? That looks like a coffee boy.
That is our villain, Jova, and you will like it.
Are you sure he's not the assistant?
Nope. That's the villain.
Worst of all, this story, from what I've seen, is based on the story of Venom called Lethal Protector, which is one of the more infamous one for the character. So it's the equivalent of Fan 4 Stick, which based itself onto the Ultimate Fantastic Four origins.
Okay, a bit of character history. Venom is one of essentially the big 3 of Spider-Man's villains. Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, and Venom. You know, ironically enough, the chronological appearances they were Doc Ock, then Green Goblin, and then Venom. But usually the way it's ordered with how it comes up in other material is Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, and then Venom. Now,
he does say there that's Jameson, so I'm guessing that's supposed to be JJ's son, but it looks a bit too old to be JJ's son.
I guess we can assume J. Jonah Jameson is even older, but okay, so why not actually have Spider-Man in the movie then?
Oh boy.
Unless they're gonna have him die, in which case... Is he a zombie?
So I guess in this version, the symbionts just infected a spaceship and then landed here.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to point out...
Here's another thing, by the way. They didn't just bring back... I know I'm getting ahead of myself. They didn't just bring one symbiont from space. They brought several, as you're about to see later.
Which would make sense, but it's jumping the gun, because... the later symbiotes came as the years went by, more and more. First was the spawning of Carnage.
Yeah, Venom will now go for... Venom will now go and move on with that go for now. So yeah, title, Venom. There we go.
Roll.
All right, so now we're going to meet our protagonist, Eddie Brock, played by Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy is a great actor. So, and honestly, here's another thing. This is actually one thing that I actually disagree with for the most part in terms of the content of this movie. Most people, even the ones who really dislike this movie,
Oh no! Oh no! A jump scare! She took the pillow off his head!
What the fuck?
all right, Taylor, strap yourself in because you're in for the 30 minutes of bland romance.
Hey,
Oh,
you know...
no, it's Attack of the Clones all over again.
You know what's...
No. I mean bland in the sense that it's so checklist by the numbers stuff that it's just... But anyway, I actually disagree with one thing. Don't get me wrong, I love Tom Hardy. He's a great actor. I'm not at all blaming him for anything here. However, I don't particularly care for his performance as Eddie Brock in this movie. It's going to become more clear as it goes along, but the way his delivery, right now it's fine, but as it goes on, a lot of times his delivery, he sounds like he's ashamed to even be in this thing. Like,
well, I think it's time I give some interesting history about this. Okay, folks, needless to say, unless you're living under a rock, you probably heard about this movie in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, God.
What?
This music.
Oh, get ready for that. We have an Eminem original song for the credits.
You know...
Well, okay, Eminem I'm more tolerable to it, but this auto-tune dubstep bullshit.
Wait, they're making a rap about...
Eddie has a TV show, the Eddie Brock Report.
I guess they could not properly use the Daily Bugle.
There you go.
Well, the Daily Bugle is in New York.
Hey, Jova, the Marvel Universe equivalent of the Colbert Report.
Hey, it's
sort of.
yeah.
Except not as fun.
Okay, what with this stock footage?
Random clips from California history.
Okay, this is very distracting. This is like Hulk 2003.
Oh, I get it. He's covered all these events.
It's a montage. It's basically a montage of his report, and so we can see how he's a journalist and all that shit. So yeah, in this one, he's kind of a successful journalist. Even as a TV show of his own.
He kinda... Well, okay.
It would have been in the original stories if he didn't let his ego letting him becoming a rival for Peter Parker.
Okay, basically, in terms of the original comics, Eddie Brock starts off as a reporter for a different newspaper than the Daily Bugle, unlike in the movie. Basically, long story short, Gene DeWolf, long-running Spider-Man character, was murdered by this villain called... I get it, he's not really tall, but I guess so. I don't get it. Wait, this guy. I know this guy. This guy was in... This guy was in... Wait.
So yeah, our corporate douchebag villain is called Carlton Drake, and yes, no, that's what he is too. I assure you.
Hold on, I've seen this actor before. He's on MCU's Luke Cage TV series. What's he doing here?
Tom specializes in exposing, crooks, like he just said. However, his boss is asking him, please don't do that. Carlton Drake, you don't want to mess with Carlton Drake. He can destroy us and blah, blah, blah. So, and he gets frustrated.
Wait, so this guy is Eddie's boss, essentially. I
get the feeling this is Amy Pascal talking to Avi Arad. Don't start your shit again, Avi, please.
Okay, basically...
I'm trying to clean our image here.
In regards to Tom Hardy maybe not seeming like he likes to be in this movie, okay, folks, to say people were expecting this movie to fail would be an understatement. Like, okay, the Emoji Movie was one thing, but Venom was... There was something artistic about it. As I've mentioned, the first two trailers of this movie were received mixed to horribly. So, as if it couldn't get any worse, not too long before this movie released, Tom Hardy gave a blasting to this film. Something an actor normally doesn't want to do... because, it kind of reflects badly on the movie and can affect really how much the relationship with the company will go. Yeah, he badmouthed the Daily Globe. What?
The Daily Globe, get it? Because right now we can't use that because the Spider-Man rights are with Marvel at the time of this movie's development. But anyway,
I wonder if they were actually referencing the Daily Planet. Well, to be fair, Daily Globe was actually a newspaper in Spider-Man's world, so fair enough.
I'm not keen on this delivery. Like, Tom is like... I'm going to the Daily Bugle. Like he, I don't know. It doesn't even sound like Eddie Brock is supposed to sound like. He just sounds. He kind of the way he's delivering these lines. He makes Eddie sound like a wimp.
I mean, depending on each incarnation, before he becomes Venom, Eddie Brock is kind of a wimp in comparison to how he becomes later on. So here's the thing. Tom Hardy apparently said that 40 minutes in this movie were cut, and he considered it the best thing. You know, it's never a good sign when the main leading actor badmouths the movie before said movie is officially and publicly released.
Yeah.
The worst thing is that Sony didn't even bother to censor him or reprehend him. No, they just let him actually say this.
That's why the stunning thing is this. This movie somehow managed to avoid being another fan force stick. This movie actually went on to be a financial success. Some people calling it so bad that it's good.
Technical detail, the budget was between 100 and 160 millions, and it grossed 855.6 millions.
Which is not as impressive as you would expect most superhero films, but it's probably impressive enough.
Okay, so Tom is since his girlfriend wouldn't tell him what news report she's doing, he decided to enter into her laptop and check into her private stuff to see what news report she's working on.
That's nice.
Eddie Brock, how far are you in this marriage? Oh yeah, engaged? Yeah, you better start canceling those arrangement plans when she inevitably finds out.
Not just that, Jova, but I don't know. Like, okay, fine. You want... okay, you're trying... They literally start off this movie by trying to make Brock like the everyman. Like, the everyman who's trying to do good. And then all of a sudden, that dick move just comes out of nowhere for him. Like, it would have been better.
It's because he's a journalist and he needs to find the truth no matter what.
All right, so Mr... this one.
Hey, just like the questions people had to ask about this movie and asking, what the hell are you thinking, Sony? Dr. Scare, she's gonna end up becoming Scream, isn't she?
Not really. She's just here to be the scientist's help for Eddie later. You'll see.
So, okay, look. Eddie being a reporter who wants to do good but makes a big mistake, that worked in the comics, but that was different. In the comics, it's a bit blurred, but let's just say...
It was better fleshed out. Like, in here, they're just going by way too fast.
In the comics, Eddie had a bit of a rough life. I mean, he had a messy relationship with his wife who he was already married with, and he was kind of desperate. Basically, long story short, there was this event that involved this villain called Sin Eater, and some guy had come confessing to Eddie Brock that he was...
Listen to Tom here.
Even the shot is kind of lazy in how slow it is.
It's hard to tell. Like, Sony always toot their horn, but were they actually expecting this movie to be good?
Literally just using the cameraman just so they can excuse, yeah, this is part of a TV show. My god. But you know what? At least I'm glad Tom Hardy, at least for a chunk of the movie, doesn't have to have shit in his face.
Yeah, but yeah, like I was saying, he goes from every man wants to do good to just, private checking into the private mails of his girlfriend way too quick. Again, Tom said that 40 minutes of this movie were cut. I believe it, because the pacing in the too fast.
Like, okay, I get you want to do...
It's nearly 2 hours, and I get it. Adding back those 40 minutes would make this movie like as 2 hours and a half. However, I don't know. I kind of would like to see exactly what this movie was before it was clearly cut 40 minutes too short.
Guys, I don't know, but maybe going in as a reporter and directly asking the big boss about allegations while he knows he's on camera may have been a bad move.
Anyway, Drova, the person you were mentioning the actor is called Ron Cephas Jones, and yes, he was.
Wait.
He's in Luke Cage.
Look at Eddie.
That guy.
Did you notice that his face earlier? Like, yeah, like I know he's really bad. Like that look he gave his boss, it looked like the evil Eddie Brock when he has Venom, but he hasn't gotten Venom yet. Like, again, I find Tom Hardy's performance in this movie pretty uneven. Like,
I think that so far the best way you can describe the movie is that he's relaxed. It doesn't feel like a superhero movie at all.
See, here's the thing. Like I said,
they're taking their time to establish.
Oh, you're
the
fired.
Origin.
Well, fuck you then.
What were you expecting, asshole?
Well,
You were
Tio, it's like I said, maybe charging in guns blazing.
Oh, there you go. There you go. See, since they immediately assumed that she was the one who leaked it.
Hey,
but, well, obviously it was him.
You know what would have helped? If we just had some Spider-Man in this film. I mean, Spider-Man wouldn't even have to be the focus, but imagine, we see the dual sides, Spider-Man doing...
It's 15 minutes, not 30. For some reason, it felt longer to me in the theater. But anyway, yeah, this is another thing. Now I'm supposed to feel sad, I guess, but the movie didn't really do a good job.
This is Eddie. He's your normal reporter, but he's about to find out that an alien symbiote is about to attach to its body.
Okay. Would now be a good time for me to start pointing out some problems with how they're trying to set up here, because I can see this coming from a mile away.
If you want to blame whoever edited the editing, there are two people responsible: Marion Brandon and Alan.
Look at that! They brought the whole family of symbiotes.
Okay, context. After the spawning of Carnage, on Earth arrives a bunch more of symbiotes. One forms a villain called Scream. 4 others are used for military purpose and established for 4 different characters: Agony, Phage, Lasher, and Riot. But then they ultimately fuse together into another being called Hybrid, which starts as a villain and becomes later an anti-hero, I think.
And then they divided, and then Scream, who went crazy, killed them all, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Funnily
it's a bit complicated because they're not even used that much, so...
You know what's funny is that Scream's still out there alive, and believe it or not, of all the things to showcase her in, Scream's actually one of the Sinister Six villains that shows up in the ride at Universal Studios. How about that for a reference? Okay, here's the problem.
What's the line for episode 1? That cost 10 bullballs?
Oh!
Yeah.
That's
fuck you then.
That's Carnage's thing. Venom doesn't do the whole knife thing, and I mean even the symbiote.
It's interesting you say that, Joe, because we'll get to that.
Not only that, it's pretty clear to me that the makers of this movie actually played the video game Prototype, which is in itself loosely based on the symbionts from the Marvel Universe, but it does exactly this kind of thing with the blades, hand blades, and stuff like that.
So, okay, I guess they're gonna make Venom a composite character, in the sense that they're gonna give him both Venom's abilities, but also Carnage's, too.
I'll get back to you in the after credit scene.
Also, what is the point of this Venom symbiote passing on from people to people? See, now,
I'm guessing the host rapidly
died. 6 months later.
That's right. We time skip 6 months later.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is one of the points where there was stuff in between that was cut.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing, though. That's another thing, Joe.
Oh, God.
In the context of the final product, Teo, let's pretend for a moment that there weren't 40 minutes cut. In the context of the final product, Teo, that 6 month skip doesn't really matter, because trust me, as you're about to see throughout the rest of this movie, they could have just cut away to the thing. Like, there was no need. Not to mention, it creates a plot hole. So you're telling me that these super talented scientists have yet to make any sort of progress in the symbiote research in 6 months? Because as you're seeing right now, they still have they have only now figured out how the symbiotes work.
What are you saying, guys? But
it took you 6 months to get to this
guys.
Of course, we need to start testing on humans. No, I'm sorry, it's too soon. But don't you want to play as God?
Look, guys. I don't know what you're saying. Between the lizard rat in Amazing Spider-Man and the exploding frog in Hulk 2003, I'm sure these guys are making scientific breakthroughs. Now, bonding a symbiote to a rabbit, that's probably going to turn into a monster for a jump. Oh,
I saw not just that, Teo. I saw this plot in plenty of 90s movies, which is what this movie feels like. It feels like a movie that came out in the 90s.
This movie feels
that's a problem. I was being told that this was kind of a throwback to those edgy, dark 90s movies like Spawn or
It will get there, but not yet.
I'm not getting it so far, and we're already 20 minutes in.
All right. Okay.
That's what I said, Theo. The first act is the most boring one, but don't worry. The second and third acts are much better.
So what was the
Not
point?
good, not good, and by much better I mean more entertaining, not better as in good.
So
Okay.
what was even the point of that rabbit scene?
To test that the symbiotes are working with
Yeah. Basically, Joe, but they're just figuring out about how the symbionts need a host body, all that stuff.
Okay, I have a few problems already, and I got a bit of a checklist here, folks. First off, this is not how you make it.
Is Brazilian. Ruby? What?
Whatever. Moving on.
So, what's he been doing for 6 months, I wonder?
That's the thing, Jova. Like I said, that the 6-month time skip doesn't really matter. Like look at Eddie. Like he doesn't look any different from 6 months ago.
Has
It
he
doesn't
found a
seem-
job?
No, he hasn't.
No, it should be a bomb by this
Let me
point.
put it like this. So wait. He lives in San Francisco. Maybe not as expensive as New York City, but San Francisco ain't exactly cheap to live in. And you're telling me that
Also
he hasn't had a
cheap.
job for 6 months, and he somehow has
I'm
missed...
guessing he went freelance?
That's the thing, Teo. It's strongly implied that he hasn't gotten any work since then.
Oh, wait, let me
which-
guess.
which-
Let me guess. We're
again-
about to... Wait, let me guess. We're about to get a scene that's going to establish contrast. Someone tries to rob this woman, but he can't do anything, but then later when he has the Venom powers, he can do something.
Jova, have you seen this movie before?
They're mirroring
Yeah.
Spider-Man's origin. Like, okay, so they're trying to essentially make Eddie Brock Peter Parker, well, pseudo Peter Parker, in a sense that, like Peter Parker, he starts off selfish, but then later becomes a hero, but now more dark and whatnot. Okay.
I bought a DVD. You bought a DVD from this place and it was in Mandarin. Well, you shouldn't really buy DVDs from convenience stores, mate. Oh, look at that, Jova. You must be a fucking wizard.
I guess the difference is that...
Oh god, he's like in every frame. Look at that.
I guess the
Yeah, it
difference is
is.
that, unlike Peter Parker, he doesn't have special powers that would allow him to do this without getting
So he's
brutally
gonna
hurt.
try diplomacy to convince him.
Press X to comfort.
Oh no, he just let him go away.
Well, it's actually one of the possibilities you have in every round. You can choose to stay in the back and wait till the robber leaves. So.
Okay. You are a terrible person.
Brilliant line. Life hurts, Eddie. It just does.
Okay.
I don't really need a movie to be reminded of that.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, time to bust out a checklist here. First off, they're trying to make us feel sorry for Eddie Brock, even though he legit screwed up. Here's the thing.
Yeah, this is his own blame. Like, I'm supposed to feel sorry for him and
Hey
all that shit.
there.
No, not really. Like, he deserves all of this. And like Jova was saying, how the hell is he not a bum starving on the street by this
Oh
point?
my-
Oh,
God,
but look
we're
at that. He
hammering
just has a
that in.
smaller apartment. And, okay, look, as even the Spider-Man movie showed, just because you downgrade to an apartment doesn't mean it's going to be that much cheaper.
No, I mean, guys, just look at the way when he came to the apartment, there was the couple kissing. He's like, the movie's like, look at how happy they are, and he's not.
You know, for reminders,
Look at the
you know, part of the reason...
Look, he cannot even get care of his plants. Look at how he drinks his sorrows away.
Over to notice. There you go. See, Theo, if you're expecting subtlety from this movie, you might as well just stop right now.
I'm loving it. I wish there would be more of that.
Don't worry, there will.
Sorry, Eddie, you don't have...
Jova,
Dishwasher.
Yeah?
Jova, doesn't using a phone require paying a phone bill?
Yes, it does. You know, okay.
How is he able to pay the phone bill if he has no job?
Okay, are they just...
He's leeching to someone else's Wi-Fi.
You know, is Aviarad just trying to
I
rip... Is
guess.
Aviarad just trying to rip off Spider-Man 2? See, part of the reason people really like Spider-Man 2 was how it managed to show Peter in both his hero phase, but also showed the struggles he had trying to maintain that job, you know? That's part of Spider-Man's appeal, in that he's a hero, but he's also the...
What the fuck?
Yeah, this is gonna be a thing.
Oh,
Oh
for
no,
God's
we're doing
sake!
Catwoman.
My God, you're actually ripping off Catwoman. Oh,
Why? Why are you ripping off Catwoman?
okay, look, ripping off
That's like
Spider-Man...
ripping off a rock.
Okay,
what
okay,
do you
look.
get from it?
Look, movie. Ripping off Spider-Man 2 is one thing. Spider-Man 2 is one of the most acclaimed superhero movies of all time. But ripping off Catwoman, the superhero movie that's considered even worse than Batman and Robin, and...
And meet our first human subject, Jova.
Are they?
Let's get to work.
So
Don't you just want to play God, Jova?
my question is, why? Like, have they established that there's any benefits for humans? Okay, look, in the Ultimate Universe, the reason the suit
They
was...
said during the rabbit test that we're trying to use this for compensating the organ donations.
Yeah, because that totally looks like something that's gonna provide...
Remember, the corporate douchebag earlier told us that his big vision for these symbiotes is to create humans that, like, to eliminate diseases, basically turn humans into indestructible beings and stuff
Oh
like
my god,
that.
we're even doing trouble reference.
There you go. See, he's even quoting the Bible to convince him.
Amazing.
For reference sake, Abraham was told to sacrifice his own son, and the only reason he didn't sacrifice his son was because God was pleased enough to see it, and his reward was...
And then the last minute said, dude, stop.
No, he's not! Isaac is the one about to get sacrificed!
This is the movie.
Maybe he's actually referring to The Binding of Isaac, the video game.
Movie. Stop trying to be smart. You're not.
Next, you'll be telling me that... Gee, hey, why don't you compare him to Arif while you're at it?
Star Trek 2, really?
Wow. Okay, this movie is... I'm calling it... This movie's bad. Like, I know we barely started the case.
Give up already, and I'm loving it.
No, that's a fake joke. Again, this movie is entertaining, but it's such a badly told story.
To me, it's entertaining on what we're doing, but I wish the visuals would go along with it, because to me it seems like we're not trying too much with the visuals.
I guess
So far,
that's for later.
least.
That's for later.
This movie is definitely entertaining with how bad it is, but that still doesn't...
Have you seen tentacle rape?
I think my biggest fear is that
Oh my god, we're actually doing it. Oh, fuck you.
Sorry, Teo. Unfortunately, we're trying to go for PG-13.
I guess
maybe that's one of the things that was cut, actually, or it worked in this case.
What have you
Again,
done?
it's not even just that, Joe, but the primary problem is the pacing. The pacing goes by way too fast. We don't really get to know the characters. Second,
it makes you do half of the Macarena?
Aye.
Also, our villain is as generic of a corporate douchebag as it gets. So,
Okay, I'm good. I swear, when I saw trailers, I thought it was some different bearded guy who was the main villain, not that guy.
Sorry, Jova, but maybe it's in those 40 minutes that were cut.
That didn't work.
Sir, I think maybe that thing is a little too dangerous to test on mankind. And this is the part where everyone in the room either said... Okay, I'm sorry. This is...
But you see, but Teo, I don't care how many humans I sacrifice. I will achieve this project.
Okay.
The villain of Monsters Inc. had this mentality.
Okay. That's in the movie. That's the part where everyone in the room takes a collective dare and either says, I quit, or they all tackle him and call the nearest asylum.
No, Joe, but I think what you're saying, Joe, but this is the moment where the entire audience just turns off their viewing movie mode and just goes into full making fun of the movie mode, because at this point it's just like, the movie is so ridiculous. Like again, it's not even just the pacing. Like the tone is very uneven as well. It's
weird. I mean, I get that some people may hate to have to wait for the part when the superhero becomes a superhero, but we're almost 30 minutes in, and I still feel like this film is rushing to it. Okay, this movie feels like, concerning just Venom, this movie feels like it has the opposite problem of Spider-Man 3, where Spider-Man 3 took a bit too long to get to Venom. This movie feels like every step it's taking is rushed just to get straight to Venom. Like, okay, let's list a few things that need more facilitation. First of all, like you guys have said, we needed more of a reason for Eddie Brock to all of a sudden decide that it was worth risking his romance, his love's business life, which she could have gotten fired for, his own job, and his company's own security to realize why this is supposedly so big a deal. Secondly, we need more of a reason for why our bad guy is this determined. Like, he doesn't even mention money, he doesn't even mention power, it's just he wants to cure people. Except, there needs to be some sense of rhyme or reason to why he wants to cure and help people. I mean, now...
took his job.
For compare...
Let me just read. Okay. Corporate douchebag, of course, is doing more human experiments, and the lead scientist here decided to talk to Eddie Brock because, remember, Eddie was the only one who had the balls to call him out on his bullshit and his unethical practices, so she was hoping that he would be able to help her.
You know,
however, Eddie Brock doesn't want any of it because he doesn't want things to get even worse for him.
How can they get any worse? He's fired him without a job. The only way he could is if he's afraid of them coming after him, and he's clearly not afraid of companies retaliating.
He's a hobo that should be without.
And he's a stalker too.
He should be a hobo on the streets looking for. At this point, prison would be probably an upgrade for him. At least he'll have free food there.
You know, Avi, the reason people like Spider-Man 2 was that it didn't really try to sugarcoat how tough it was for Peter to afford a lot of his stuff. And that's the thing.
But but Venom wasn't in it, Jova.
But here's the thing. Peter actually had a job, and even still he struggled. Eddie, as far as we've seen, hasn't had a job for 6 months, and somehow he's still in. Granted, yes, he's overdue on stuff, but you're seriously telling me that he hasn't been dragged and thrown up on the streets? It wouldn't even be that hard to fix. Just make it more like a week or 1 month instead of 6 months.
You know, that's the basic gist of it, Jova. For as much as he obsesses over Venom, Avirad doesn't really get Venom.
Like, okay, I get that you want to get to the scenes with Venom,
then again, I'm not sure anything. So, yeah.
You know, I get wanting to get to the bits with the superhero being the superhero. I get it. But there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. The problem is that, again, Venom is something of a delicate character. Let's be quite honest, even the comics have mishandled him. Granted, to be fair, Venom as of now, yes, he was an anti-hero and then became something of a more legit hero. Here's the thing. He became a legit hero when he was bonded to Flash Thompson. Yes, that very same Flash Thompson over the years, and Eddie Brock became anti-Venom. Then they switched to Venom suits and whatnot. It's really weird and long. Basically, yes, Venom does have a development that does get him to be an anti-hero. The difference is that he had so many comics galore for his arc, and even still the comics recognize that he is a bad guy originally. This is just rushing to the finish line, saying, hey, yeah, this guy's been a jerk, but please feel sorry for him because he's eventually going to be a hero. That's like what Fan 4 Stick did, and oh my god, this is reminding me of problems with Fan 4 Stick, God help us.
Not just that, but Tom, could you please try to reread those lines again? Not just that, too. It's more of the uneven delivery than anything. Like, seriously, do you even care about this romance between these two? Like, seriously, it was so rushed and whatever. So...
You know, okay, I have a bit of a theory here. The way he sounds so uninterested in some parts, but sounds more interested in others, maybe this also had to do with those 40 minutes that were cut. Like, maybe there's a reason why he's so down deep emotionless. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but you'd be surprised about how much 40 minutes can help or hurt a movie.
It's really clear when you watch this thing that a lot of footage was cut.
He's contemplating throwing the ring. Hey, I remember that from Fantastic Four 2005. Well, okay, technically it didn't involve throwing the ring, but it was also on a bridge. The Thing tried to pick up a ring. I know I'm stretching, but can you blame me with this movie?
Never mind, didn't throw the ring.
So is his wife going to have that part where she becomes She-Venom and goes crazy and ends up killing herself?
No, he's going to try and see if he exposes corporate douchebag. I don't care about his name. He's just corporate douchebag.
Why? What can... Oh, wait, let me guess. So that can make everyone realize that he was in the right.
Yeah. And maybe he can get his life back, yes.
You know, here's my question. Dr. Scurf knew that he was working for a newspaper company of sorts. I'm pretty sure he mentioned that. Why didn't she go to them?
You know what's the sad thing? Bruce Almighty has this kind of plot.
But better.
Yeah.
And that was a comedy. It's supposed to be ridiculous.
It had some serious moments, yes, but again, it knew what it was. A movie where Morgan Freeman is God, that's a very good take on stuff. Yes. You know, I think that's the thing with this movie. This movie just needs to be more honest with itself and realize...
And takes itself less seriously.
That's the thing. Even in the comics, they realize that Venom Venom is kind of a pretentious screwhard who really doesn't realize that he's more the problem than anyone else. That's part of his arc in Lethal Protector. I mean, he's in incredible
Which
denial.
is this story supposed to be based upon, by the way.
E.T. joke. Like,
Wait, they call them symbiotes, huh? Yeah, okay, here's the thing. In the show, they were called symbiotes because that's literally what they are. But here,
Venom.
Here, you're calling a symbiote in a scientific discovery. That's like if I called... Well, it's like if I discovered a new breed of squirrel and called it squirrel. Like, no duh, it's a symbiote. That's literally the definition of a symbiote.
Remember, Jova, they're known as the symbionts in the comics, so symbionts it is.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but if ever there were a time to take inspiration from the Ultimate Universe, this might have been a better one too. See, in the Ultimate Universe, the suit is scientifically made by Peter Parker and Eddie Brock's own fathers, as a made to cure cancer, the ultimate killers of all. It sounds pretentious, but I'll give it this. As with Ultimate Spider-Man, it was actually relatively well handled. You know, not counting the more screwy things with Venom, but that's kind of unrelated.
So let me get this straight. Doris Kerf's master plan to expose corporate douchebag is to just allow Eddie in here on his own, on a building he doesn't know anything and doesn't know where to go, and just hope he finds evidence, and then somehow manages to escape this place without security knowing about him.
Excuse me for a moment.
Brilliant plan.
Excuse me for a moment. I need to make a call. Yeah, Nick Nolte, you know how your character seemed really stupid? Yeah, bring him back, please. His plans were masterful compared to this. Seriously, though, Nick Nolte's character had a character who constantly changed with every scene he was, and even still his plan made more sense than any of this.
Look at what we're doing to the people.
Don't look how bad corporate douchebag is.
You know, it's not a good thing, but I replayed recently Beyond Good and Evil, which supposedly has this kind of plot with a journalist protagonist, but has to reveal the truth about an evil organization with machines and everything, machines, and that story is way much better than this.
Eddie, I get that this company is probably a scumbag company, but you ever stop to realize maybe there's a reason why they're keeping these people behind such strong gas?
Jesus.
Oh, he knew her, Maria.
Remember,
the live-action version of Sonic Adventure 2 is weird.
So, let me get this straight. Is this the original?
This is how the Venom symbiote passes to him?
So,
really?
Yes.
So let me get this straight. Off-screen this...
Even removing Spider-Man from the equation, you could have still tried, the church scene, which is so iconic.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that that's what they were building up with having that Venom that passed on to everyone, but no, apparently this company captured the Venom symbiote off-screen.
And he immediately has superpowers. And knows how to do them.
Okay, just to clarify, Pedro, Maria, that woman, was she holding the same Venom symbiote that's been passing off from people to people, or was that just one of the ones they had in captivity?
It happens to be the black one, the one we all know about.
Well, what I mean is, was it the one that we've been seeing earlier in the film, that killed those people in that city earlier?
Yes. You're right. Now I know what you're asking. That Maria girl, that's the one we saw from the beginning of the movie. The one that was.
So off-screen, this company managed to capture her. How?
And they have new buggies to be used on...
Remember, Jova, we had 40 minutes cut from this thing, so my guess is that scene was left on the cutting room floor.
Hey, how funny! We also have a scene in Into the Spider-Verse where a black Spider-Man-esque thing is trying to get the hold of his powers or whatnot.
Jova and Pedro, I love when movies have these chase scenes where, despite the surprise factor, the facility has vehicles immediately following the chase subject, despite not being prepared and not being a facility that technically should have this kind of defense.
Also, wasn't it nighttime when he got in there? Why is it looking like it's midday but foggy?
With fogs. And now the lighting fucked up again.
No, that's a thing too. My guess is, again, because of the cut footage, they had to cut together pieces of footage that weren't meant to go together because they had little to work with.
What a mess.
So is this Tom Hardy trying to drink the stars of this movie brought him away?
All right, Tom Hardy's acting up to this, but was already a bit iffy, but now it's gonna get even more chaotic. However, here it's at the very least for a reason. Basically, now he just starts to get more and more insane.
Well, I
And
guess
it-
that's one thing of
The
Venom, but
it is. But the problem is that I don't particularly find Tom Hardy's insanity. Like if,
I
you can tell,
remember the
you can
first
tell,
trailer.
you can tell you're meant to be somewhat disturbed or somewhat,
I wasn't supposed to be
uncomfortable.
laughing at that.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's exactly my
God.
point. Exactly my point, Joe. But like, this is the movie. The movie wants you to be somewhat disturbed by what's happening, but it just comes across as funny, and it's
You-
just
you-
that's my main
you-
problem. Tom Hardy doesn't seem to realize that this movie is trying to be serious, and yet it seems like he's trying to be to act in a comedy. It's
Gee.
it's a very weird paradox.
I remember the very first trailer of this movie that was depicting it as a horror. I distinctly remember that, which showed nothing.
Yeah,
of Venom.
wouldn't that be much cooler?
I don't know. People people did not react well to that, and I would agree with that because focusing too much on that would have resulted in the movie not being fun.
Hold
you
on.
know.
So there was only one Venom Okay, granted, I guess even
You're
if there's
fired.
more, they probably want to know what happened to that one.
No, they just want. Okay, there you go.
Hello.
Should we know this guy?
Remember that he was one of the human subjects. Turns out he didn't die. Turns out he just needed some time to adjust to the symbiont, like corporate douchebag just said.
So how many other specimens are there?
It wasn't like 4.
Yeah, I
they
think so.
brought? Yeah.
Well, wasn't it 4 that they originally had in captivity, but the 5th one was a complete random? That's another thing. It's like, well, why even bother having the scene where that other symbiote that was out in the wild free is now just captured when you already had all those specimens?
I don't even understand, Joe. My guess is he a corporate douchebag doesn't want people to realize he's done unethical things, and now there's a witness out there. I guess I'm guessing that's the problem.
I'm still stuck on why they bothered having that other symbiote out in the wild that they were just going to capture it. It just feels so overly pointless and a waste of my time.
Again, Joe.
Oh wait, never mind. I guess this is the one that's out there.
Never mind. Okay. In that case, Jova, my guess is Maria is part of the lost subplot that was lost in the 40 minutes that were cut. That's my guess.
So, Here's my question. What's this Venom symbiote motivated by? See, in the comics, the Venom symbiote was motivated by a sick love for Spider-Man. No,
Yeah.
seriously. They even go
And
on...
ultimately revenge against him.
The comics even go later on to specify that apparently that symbiote was female.
Oh, there you go. It starts to talk. So who's actually voicing the symbiote?
Eddie Brock himself.
Tom Hardy.
Oh,
Yes, so they're doing the whole
Eddie-
Prince of Persia 3 thing.
If I remember correctly,
not
yes,
really.
it is-
Jova.
it
In
is
that
Eddie
game,
Brock.
we use 2 different voice actors. Lobsters.
It's a combination of Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy, and some kind of filter that they put on his voice.
The same one that we used for him when he was redubbing Bane.
Tom, I get that you want to...
Of course.
So...
Again, like I said, at least there's a good chunk of the movie where Tom Hardy doesn't have like a mask on his face.
There you go.
Oh.
This is so awkward.
Well, you know what? We've officially found it, folks. Something to make Emo Peter seem dignified by comparison. I never thought I'd say that, but...
This movie sold us so much.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
The symbiote doesn't make Eddie Brock act like this. This is just silly.
Okay, I'm gonna say it. Spider-Man 3 handled this way better. Sure, yeah, Spider-Man 3 has its issues, but even still, regardless of how they executed well, it did show a gradual descent on Peter's behavior here. Sure, he acted more like a jerk, but he didn't become an outright monster up until...
Tom, get off the stage.
Well, let's not even just that, Jova. He's not becoming... Eddie, so far at least, is not becoming a monster. He's just becoming a complete nut job. and by nut job, I mean like a silly, ha ha ha, funny.
Okay.
Depressing.
Eddie, not for nothing. Okay, maybe this is the Venom. Maybe this is the symbiote controlling him. But what possessed him to go talk to her about this now when he clearly wasn't feeling well? Was he that desperate, or did the symbiote push him to do it?
Oh, now we're scanning him. Okay.
Yes, to Tom Hardy as Venom.
Okay.
Oh, let me guess. They took him away.
Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, so the girlfriend, I don't even remember her name. Generic girlfriend's new boyfriend.
Adeline, I think. Oh, Anne.
What?
No, her name's Annie.
Anne. Yeah, it goes to show how memorable her character is. The point is, Anne's new boyfriend is actually a doctor. So, all right, let's check out. Let's try to medically diagnose what Eddie has.
Let me guess. Scene where he turns into Venom, but whoa.
Oh, God.
There you go. There's a shot from the trailer.
There's no technology to show maybe a morphing of the face there on the monitor.
No, it's not that. Basically, Jova, the MRI has problems with the symbiote. Last I checked, the symbiote.
Remember, Jova, this is kind of a throwback to the fact that the symbiote is weak to sound waves.
True.
That's radiation.
So vibrations of that kind may be a reference to that.
Yeah, it is. I'm guessing that's what they're going for. Yeah.
Oh
no, he wants to eat the puppy, doesn't he?
Look how ferocious it is.
Mrs. Manfredi.
Okay.
Wow, I gotta say, considering that rampage he had, I'm surprised that they didn't have him committed.
Yeah, you think they will do. But
Yeah,
no.
that's because, Jova, this movie is completely separate from how reality works. And I know that we're in the Marvel universe, so not really reality, but like
Shit. So again, like I said, the host is not capable of supporting a symbiote like this. Yep, just like I said, the waves. Okay, that checks out.
Alright, they got that right at least.
Oh.
What?
Humans are so
Okay,
unfinished creatures.
seriously, dude, what is your motivation? Like, do you want to just be written in the history books or something? Because literally all it just...
He wants to massage his own ego, and people to claim how awesome he is at discovering this amazing scientific phenomenon.
Oh, jeez.
That's the basics. His motivation, Job, is about as shallow as you'd expect from a character like this in a movie like this.
Jesus. Even... Okay. I have to debate. Is he a worse villain than Fantastic Doctor Doom?
No, I think so far Doctor Doom Fan Stick is still worse.
Yeah,
Dr.
true.
Doom Fan Stick, while it is true that Doctor Doom had the revenge thing going on, and that's more than what this guy has.
He barely looked like Doctor Doom. He barely did have the powers of Doctor Doom.
And the revenge made the least sense it ever did. Okay, fair enough. That said, though, holy cow, is this villain either dull, just pathetic, terrible, and he lacks presence. And I'm not saying it's just because he's short or looks dorky and I don't look. You can make any person, well, maybe not any person, but in most cases, if you put enough effort into it, you can make even the most mundane of people be super scary, or even some of the most funny-looking of people become intimidating later on. They are clearly not trying.
Yeah, everything about the villain is just... yeah.
You know who the villain should have been? Carnage. Carnage is at least an interesting enough antagonist for Eddie to deal with.
Again, Jova, they're saving that for the sequel. Wait till the after credits scene.
Let's see. When was the last time they were saving things for a sequel involving Carnage? Alright, Spider-Man 4.
Not even that. Even just for the sake of saving stuff, Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, but Tio, he showed up in the video game.
It's time for the payoff.
Just like Catwoman. Oh my god, it's almost word to word.
So, you know what's funny to you? Carnage actually did show up in the video game adaptation of Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I know.
So
Still
there you
with the
go.
motif of-
So there you go. That was the payoff of the music.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Hey, at least I did not sexually assaulted him or something.
You really expect her to tell you after you are clearly
Yes,
doing
my
immoral...
son. Would I lie?
Eh?
Hold on.
You know, smart Alec, you didn't even think to maybe suspect that it might be Eddie Brock, you know, the guy who tried to expose you earlier in the film? I mean...
Well, remember, Jova, it was 6 months ago. Maybe you forgot about him.
I guess, if he deals with this on a regular basis.
Not to mention, technically, to be fair, he has no real reason to think it was Eddie Brock.
Oh, I get that, but the fact that he doesn't even consider, you know, a while ago...
Now he told her. Now she told him. So there you go. Never mind.
Wow, you're a sucker.
So, is he gonna kill her? I mean, we're doing a checklist, so might as well.
You know...
Hold on.
What?
There we go.
Oh, so she is gonna get bonded with one.
I'm guessing she will not survive as a host.
Well, and that was Dr. Scurf. I hope you enjoyed her
What's
character.
with the parallelism?
Meanwhile, back to the hijinks of Venom, because that's pretty much what this is, the hijinks.
Yeah, that's exactly my problem with this interpretation of Venom. Like he's just doing silly hijinks for the most part. I mean,
Also, I like how they're changing the voice in his head pretty much to being the stand-in for Spider Sense. You know, the warning, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was kind of funny.
Eddie, it's not the time for a comedic tone.
Okay, if the movie was
If you're
honest...
happy and you know it, raise your hand.
Pick a tone and stick to it, Eddie.
You know, if the movie had started off with this tone, I'd be fine for running with it. The problem is that they're clearly trying to be a bit more serious about it in other points.
Yeah, remember, Joe, that's one of the primary complaints critics and audiences have with this movie. The tone is uneven.
Look, guys, you're making Spider-Man 3 look tonally consistent by comparison. I'm talking to someone who likes that movie, even I recognize it as tonal inconsistency issues.
Jesus.
So, here's my question. Aside from escaping from these guys, what is the symbiote's main goal or whatnot?
That's the thing, Jova. Right now, the symbiote has no motivation whatsoever aside from survival.
Which is kind of different because, you know, the symbiote wasn't exactly that bad always originally. The symbiote just wanted company. You know, well, okay, it did like survival, but it grew to actually love Peter in a sense, which again helps motivate Venom's revenge. You know, Eddie just wants to kill Spider-Man, and the symbiote either wants to kill Spider-Man or have him.
And here's the opposite, Jova. Venom will fall in love with,
Okay,
will grow to love Eddie. So there you go. Like you yourself said, he's the stand-in for Peter Parker.
And you know, I get it. This is technically an alternate universe telling of Venom.
Man,
but...
I was about to no scope. Of course, it's a Sony product, so PS4.
Ah, here you go. This is another running gag tale. Basically, the medical doctor boyfriend diagnosed that he has a parasite. You know, get it? And from this point on, Teo, every time Eddie does something with Venom, he always, sorry, I have a parasite. That's the joke. That's the joke.
It's not funny.
Well, they think it is, too, so...
Okay, you know, maybe if this were an alternate universe of Venom, I get it. The problem is that Sony has gone on to say that they could very well... Actually, they're planning to make this into its own universe.
Well, yeah, remember this movie made money, so I'm pretty sure the sequel is in the works.
Also, Joe, I remember we're already in production for a Kraven the Hunter movie set in the same universe.
The problem is that, again, because you're making... And yeah, there's also words that they're going to try and include Spider-Man when they can in it. So... Here's the problem, Ben.
See, See, Theo? Parasite.
Well, at least Venom agrees with me.
Hey, he sticks to a wall like Spider-Man.
Okay.
Are you sure that wouldn't have
Suicide
destroyed this parasite itself as well?
Ladies and gentlemen, for a motorcycle action sequence.
Really?
You know,
And there you go. Prepare yourself, everybody, because this action sequence goes on for a while.
Oh, goody! It's just like Matrix Reloaded.
not for nothing, guys, but are you sure that this stuff won't end up killing the symbiote
Also,
as well?
again, suicide bombing drones.
What the fuck?
What, they get those from Amazon? It's funny how Into the Spider-Verse also had a motorcycle sequence. Granted, it was much better.
Also, I don't understand how the symbiote works here. It's almost as if it's like another being that occasionally emerges from Eddie's body and moves him like a marionette. It's not. It doesn't work like that in the comics.
Not for nothing, but plenty of people can have good reflexes without a symbiote.
Also, why does he need the symbiote hands to drive the motorcycle?
Oh. How's the symbiote even good at this? Like, does the symbiote know how to drive a motorcycle?
Well, remind me.
Right,
Jova.
6-month time skip.
No, not just that, Jova, but correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't the symbiote...
He said it, guys, but he can only say it a number of times to keep it PG-13.
Yep.
Okay.
They actually kept
How sturdy is that motorcycle?
Remind me, Jova, if I remember correctly, don't the symbionts also access the same knowledge as their host?
Okay, true.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's why Eddie Brock knows.
So if Eddie knows
that,
it, then Venom knows it as well.
Fair enough. That's kind of how Venom even
That's why
figures
Venom
out.
knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Okay, fair enough. You know, this action scene was... And now he's enjoying this?
Great delivery.
That clearly was Eddie and not the symbiote talking.
Yeah, you're starting to see what I mean too. Like, Tom Hardy's performance is weird.
You know... Okay, I know that 40 minutes was cut out.
Okay, is this a comedy or not? Make up your mind.
And Eddie's about to find out that being tied to an alien parasite ain't so great.
You know, this falls in... You know, this...
Wait, this is not Grand Theft Auto. Car physics don't work like that.
Okay.
This autumn, Tom Hardy is Venom, rated PG-13.
You know, I'm all the more curious to see how insane that the full cut would have been.
Jova, why is this action sequence operating on GTA physics?
Well, I guess to be fair, Eddie is... Well, okay, regarding Eddie surviving the symbiote.
I mean the cars. Like, the cars jump on the air like the cars in Grand Theft Auto games.
I guess this is where they want to go over the top to remind us that, yes, this is a superhero flick. You know, that's the thing, honestly. You know, where did you
The problem is that aside from the internal voice in Eddie, you could have just replaced the title with something else and it would have been the same thing. Honestly.
You know, again, this would be more interesting if Eddie were the villain of a Spider-Man flick. You know, seeing Eddie become more a villain while Peter Parker becomes more a hero. I mean, that's what this feels like. This feels like something that's supposed to be part of a Spider-Man movie and failure.
Oh my god.
And there you go. Now Eddie broke his back and leg, if I remember correctly. However, Venom heals him.
That's why I'm going to stand right over the guy who, not too long ago, sledgehammered us into a wall back at his apartment.
Oh, there you go.
I'm a smart mercenary, aren't I?
Oh, about time. More than halfway
Hey.
through the movie.
There you go. All right,
Okay.
I will give it credit. I do like.
Oh my
how
god!
Venom
Oh my god! That is literally a line from when he first engages. Well, not when he first engages Spider-Man, but that's a line from his debut comic arc.
Yeah, it is. That's a nice reference there. And like I said, I actually do like how Venom looks. I actually think he looks a lot better than Venom in Spider-Man 3, honestly. I think he looks fine. Like,
It actually looks
I'm
like
not
in the
surprised.
comics,
I mean,
the
Sony
more
have.
bulky torso and thing.
Yeah. It's pretty much the look of the comics. And it works fine for me, honestly. It looks
So,
fine.
how much of it do we actually get to see in this movie? Because he's gone already.
And I can already see.
Don't worry, Jova. From this point on, this movie becomes a lot more entertaining.
And I can see already the stuff about cutting away or censoring the violence, because there was a scene where he beat the head of the other guy, but it was barely seen. Oh, hello.
Where'd the name come from? Seriously.
Not only that,
He's just named Venom, Jova, apparently.
not only that, Venom always speaks in the third person.
Well, yeah.
Well, I just said, we found you, as in.
Well, okay, here's the thing, though. The reason Venom often speaks in plural is because it's referring to both Eddie and the symbiote.
Oh, look at that. The symbiote actually wants to fuck off the planet instead of just staying here.
Oh. Interesting. Oh! So Tom Hardy is dissing himself.
Well, keep that in mind, Teo, because the Venom himself also has kind of an arc. It's gonna be butchered because of the fast pacing, but he does have an arc, as you'll see in a moment, eventually. But yeah, well, remember the reason he's saying we this, we that is because he's talking about both of them. So.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. In fact, that's actually another question.
And now a commercial for the San Francisco airport.
Why setting this movie in San Francisco? This is Sony. They are notorious for setting things up in New York just so they can have a Times Square scene where they can product placement the shit out of everything.
I think okay, I'll just say later. Right now, I have to talk about this right now. Okay, so you're telling me that the rogue symbiote took over
Lonjo, this is important. It's worse than he thought. So, Teo, what does exactly... so the organs are behaving abnormally. That means...
Anything.
Yeah.
So, that generic something wrong with him.
Oh,
look at that. The scientist is dead.
Here's some...
Wait. You mean to tell me that the symbiote killed this person just like it killed all the other people, and yet somehow I'm surprised by this?
Wait. He wasn't expecting it? I thought he left it to punish her and kill her.
I don't even understand this guy's motivation, Joe, at this point.
So, I'm just gonna say this right now. Wouldn't it have been an interesting villain if she ended up being the main villain? Imagine, she starts off as a woman who wants to help, but unlike Eddie, the symbiote manages to control her, and then Eddie has to put her down, the woman who helped him before.
Remind me, Tim. Is Anne here even from the comics?
I have no idea.
Okay, he did have a wife in the comics. I think she's called Anne. Basically, long story short,
yeah, she is. There you go. She actually becomes a She-Venom for a while.
Like I asked, wouldn't it? I asked, are we gonna get the part where she turns into She-Venom and then goes insane, so she kills herself?
Very good, Jova. We are gonna get that scene. Very good.
Wait, oh god.
So I guess it really is supposed to be her, yeah.
Wait. Is it actually going to work like in the comics where the Venom symbiote travels through the phone lines?
Well, no, it's not. But, okay. This is actually probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Basically, yeah, he came back to the same tower he used to work in, so he can try to get some information about corporate douchebag.
So we're actually going to get She-Venom in this movie. I can't wait to see how hokey that'll turn out to be.
We have, basically, now that we have evidence, we can actually, expose corporate douchebag. However, apparently Venom, yeah. Basically, Venom wants to eat that guy, but Eddie really likes this guy, so he's preventing Venom from doing so.
All right. Oh, this is the scene where you talked about.
Okay, this is a bit of an issue here. The reason the symbiote can do this is because it learned it off of Spider-Man. Like, that's literally
It just knows.
That's the thing. This is literally the incarnation
Superhero pose.
This is the main reason why you can't do Venom without Spider-Man.
This is important, believe it or not. This is going to be part of Venom's arc. The world is not so ugly after all.
Humans are actually special, don't you know? What the?
Plane.
Oh, okay.
Oh, terrible timing.
Ooh, it's a good thing we're operating on cartoony logic because, you know, my body should be a fucking...
Yeah,
to be fair, symbiote's messing up with his body structure, so I guess we can give that a pass.
True. Okay. We're about to... Okay, after leaving the evidence here, we're gonna get to what is quite possibly the best joke in the movie.
Oh!
It really works. It really works.
Oh,
just listen to this. Again, the movie gets a lot better when Venom hits the scene. All right, there you go. Do the right thing. Yeah. Oh, look at that, guys. The Venom is starting to like Eddie. How nice.
You and I aren't so different. You're a human, and I'm...
Listen here. Yeah, listen here.
Nope.
Hey! Wait a minute. This is also a scene from Spider-Man 2.
Into the Spider-Verse. Also, Into the Spider-Verse had this kind of joke.
Whoops.
Put your hands together if you wanna clap.
As we take you through this funky rap.
That's okay.
Ooh, flares may hurt.
And I'm guessing. Oh, okay.
Although to be fair,
I'm
fires.
guessing this is one of those scenes that were re-edited to remove the gore.
I really would have liked to see what the movie would have like before the gore was removed, because there's a lot of cool horror slasher movie style violence that could have been.
Yeah.
You could have stuff be uber violent. Just remove the blood and guts, and it'll still be PG-13.
Or do the old time classic trick, use robots instead.
Like, a lot of studios don't seem to realize that.
I mean, that would even make sense for the villain, using robots just so that the symbiotes cannot infect them.
Because, okay, action scenes like this can show that you can have a villain as violent as Venom, or I guess anti-hero, but, you can still have someone as violent as Venom and keep it PG-13 without having to remove a lot of the action.
I forgot, Joe. Aside from the Ultimate Spider-Man video game, was there a proper video game centered around Venom?
What, you mean one where you play as him?
Yeah.
Let's see. There was also Maximum Carnage back in the SNES and Sega Genesis days, where, he was one of the 2 starter characters. There was also... there's also Spider-Man Friend or Foe, where you can play as Venom. Not much else rings a bell to me.
Dude, come on.
And no, we're not doing it because...
Yeah. Need to send a message for
Wow,
kids.
this is awkward.
Hey, Annie, did you know that I had a parasite?
You can be both.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You're taking this surprisingly well.
No, that is the way she points out, like this delivery.
Ha!
And
I like
Venom, you need to stay away from any sex scenes that I ever need to see in this movie.
Yeah, and Venom's like, I like her. Get it?
Okay.
Please, no.
This has definitely become a more interesting movie, you know, the whole back and forth between Eddie and Venom.
Yeah, like I said, things get a lot better when Venom, because the movie turns into complete schlock. No, that's a different universe.
We
Oh,
can't,
fire.
it's copyright. Funny because Into the Spider-Verse also has a jab at Warner Bros. At the end.
Why don't we make her like us? Then you can be together.
Venom, the psychologist.
Yeah, why is Venom one of the smarter people in this movie? Nothing against the symbiote, but,
Venom
remember,
is not that smart.
Not just that, Theo, but remember, Jova, in this incarnation, this particular symbiote is just called Venom already.
Okay.
apparently.
Let's cast aside the obvious issues with, you know, Venom's origin here, that it doesn't involve Spider-Man. Okay, let's assume that Venom is a completely original character, although why the hell you'd be watching a movie
Not
about a
steal.
completely original character. But, okay, even if we didn't have that, this could have been a better movie. The problem is that the Venom symbiote itself kind of has settled down a lot more quicker than you would think, considering what it was doing earlier.
Exactly, Jova. Very good. This is another problem.
Pacing.
Venom growing, exactly, the pacing. Venom growing to like the Earth and the humans and Eddie and all that stuff. It goes by way too fast, and it's not believable at all.
I can't
like,
believe
it just goes from not caring to suddenly caring in like that.
I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but this is a movie that might have benefited from
Hello.
in medias res. Also,
Oh, I get it. So the symbiote that has been traveling by hospitals for this is gonna be the one that infects the villain.
Very good, Theo. Gotta have the evil counterpart.
wait, so it's been trying to find him. Oh wait, let me guess. This symbiote.
But you know what's weird?
Wow, you're even more of a douchebag than I thought. I guess I'll take you.
Not just that, the way the villain gets infected is so anticlimactic. It's just there in the open. It's not like...
You know, we literally could have saved all that time with the symbiote out in the open if, you know, it was just a symbiote in captivity. Like, again, like I said, this guy has symbiotes in captivity. Why not have one of them go rogue? Why did we need to bother with this symbiote in the wild if it was just gonna join them anyway?
I don't know, Joe. My guess, not just that. Again, those cut 40 minutes. I'm really curious to see what exactly is in those 40 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been an amazing movie, but it could have been much better, I wonder.
Not just that, Jova. It's so abundantly clear when there's a piece of scene or even entire scenes that are missing. It's so clear. Like, it's not even one of those cases where like with something like Batman v Superman, where even with the added scenes back in.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, remember, because of the noise thing. Batman v Superman, pretty much it's just chaotic in its pacing in general. So any missed scenes are completely unnoticed. You know.
Oh no! You lied to me. You were actually killing me. You demonic symbiote that has tried to eat people. How could I have even trusted you in hindsight?
We're done.
So, if I am understanding correctly, what we are now having here is a lie revealed moment.
Kinda, yeah. I don't think anybody knows what's going on, dude.
So... Wait, really? This setup of the two breaking up?
No, I don't think...
the ventilation ducts. Of course.
Not just that. Like, okay, but like I was saying, yeah, with Batman v Superman, you don't know. But with a movie like this that has a very basic free act structure, it's so obvious when the movie has clearly pieces that are missing. It's so obvious, and it shows so much. Like, and as a result, it really makes you wonder what exactly was this movie like before.
No.
What exactly was this movie like before it got trimmed down? I'm really curious.
Don't you fed the doggo? No.
You know, I really do have to wonder if those 40 minutes would explain stuff.
Andy cannot catch a break. Go, Venom Doggo, go. I know that the joke is obvious that Venom is possessing such a cute animal, but...
Huh.
And she immediately recognizes, clearly, those eyes on the dog shine. Clearly it's Venom.
Don't you see, Pedro? That's because she's a strong female character, so that's why she knows already.
Yeah. A strong, bland female character.
Oh,
I'm gonna
let me
rip your
guess.
tongue out of your face just to show you how generic I am.
Let me guess, because... Oh, gee. Let me guess, because this guy has such a huge ego or whatnot, he's able to control his symbiote.
This movie's such a fucking mess.
Would have been...
You see, my fairy tale is that the reason this movie made so much money is because people had a lot of fun laughing at this whole schlock. Look, go watch it. It's hilarious. That's
I
what.
would agree, but honestly, at least so far, because we were 2/3 into it, I will still not feel justified to have paid a ticket to see this. It is fun, but like I said, the visuals do not go that extra mile to make it that fun.
I think I can sum up to you saying, this movie is junk food. Sure, in the short term it's nice, but when you've gone the whole course of it, you realize, holy cow, I've just gained more weight all for nothing.
Yeah.
This movie is definitely so... it's entertaining, but
Tom.
Oh god. I would definitely walk out of the theater ashamed that I gave money to this if I'd seen it in theaters. Because Lord knows, at worst this is probably going to make Sony think that,
There he is.
Oh boy, there you go.
And it looks exactly like Venom. Holy cow, movie, you've committed one of the MCU Phase 1's...
Not only that, for some reason, the symbiote enemy that they chose for this is Riot, one of the 4 ones that I mentioned earlier. So random.
Why not Scream? She was the most iconic of the 5 anyway.
The problem, Jova, is that he appeared in the Lethal Protector story, which this movie is based upon, so...
And
not only that, but Riot...
And now we're doing the classic Bruce Banner dilemma, where Bruce got a cure, but now there's a villain on the right about to destroy the world, so I have to give myself the Hulk again so I can stop it.
Please don't tease a Planet of the Symbiote story, because that book was so stupid.
So, question. What about all the other symbiotes in captivity? We gonna do anything about them, or have they completely fallen off the plot?
Sorry, Jova.
Setting up for sequels, most likely.
Sorry, Jova. They fell into a plot hole and they're missing now.
Also, not for nothing, but Riot looked visually different from Venom. For one thing, Riot was also sort of made from Carnage.
Well, I can tell. Riot
The
is
only major difference, the only major difference is just the color. The problem is that Riot actually looked different.
Yeah.
Had a different body shape and everything.
Hey, one of the biggest problems people used to have with MCU villains was that they were essentially just evil copies of the heroes.
Instead of just killing you already, I'm just gonna stay here and point the weapon at you and wait till something kills me. There you go.
Oh, it's She-Venom.
There she is.
Hello.
That's a She-Venom cameo for those who enjoy.
I guess.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, I don't like the
and
like
she
this in
kisses
the comic.
him.
I did not like this either. Jesus Christ.
So, are they a couple again?
No, I have a guilty pleasure for 90s weird shit like Rob Liefeld, but this is just beyond me.
See, here's the thing with She-Venom. She-Venom was essentially this bit where Eddie had to give his wife the Venom symbiote to keep her safe or something.
Oh no.
Oh, she did? I couldn't tell.
I did it off screen.
The thing with She-Venom is that his wife is driven insane by it. I believe she had a few fights with Spider-Man, but eventually, long story short, she went insane, killed herself, and that just makes Eddie mad at Spider-Man all over again.
Hold on. Listen.
What did she say?
I can fight ugly. Basically, she wants to help. That's
So, does that technically mean that Venom managed to get a threesome between him, Eddie, and Anne?
I think he
disgusting.
did. That thing.
It's Venom.
You know that thing.
Not just that, Jova, but at this point, we're literally just doing the.
Oh, that's right. We're almost in climax territory. I didn't even fell to that.
Oh yeah, it's now. I think. Yeah.
Wait, it's not safe for her? Yeah.
Listen. Just listen.
Like a secret war of sorts. Nope.
For
Nope.
no reason.
Nope.
I guess
Oh.
possessing that.
On this planet, he's a loser, just like Eddie. But here we could be more.
Okay.
So I guess possessing that dog changed his mind.
All right, Teo. That was Venom's character arc. I hope you enjoyed it.
The film is literally rushing through it as we speak. They're literally rushing through the forest to get to it. Also, the lighting keeps changing from looking like it's evening to dusk.
Sorry, Jova, but
Oh, he changed his look on life. How? All you did was have hijinks.
He just said it, Jova. You did it, Eddie. Don't you see, Jova? All Venom needed was a friend.
Okay, look. Okay, look.
But that's basically what they're doing too.
You know, I
they
realized
don't outright say it, but they might as well.
Christ, Sony.
I've realized a serious problem here. That's how Carnage's symbiote works. See, Carnage's symbiote worked in a very quick way, but that's because Carnage's symbiote started off literally as a baby after it was born from Venom's symbiote. It made sense that it was incredibly manipulated, because it was a youngling. So of course it bonded to Cletus Cassidy's behavior of being a murderous psychopath all too quickly. This doesn't work because this is supposed to be a more mature symbiote, so it makes no sense that it changes so quickly its behavior.
That killing scene was just so tame.
What was even the point? Like, it's not like they were suspicious. Just send the rocket in.
Oh, look, guys, he said the word shit.
Oh, he said, well, we were fine.
Remember, you can only say it once.
This particular cut, these scenes were not tied. They were still part of the original cut.
No. Here's the thing, Tio. You can say the F word in a PG-13 movie, but you can only say it once. Anymore, and you have to bump the rating up.
Get enough. This is a chopper.
Why? Never mind, just die. God, don't we have such amazing, fleshed-out characters?
Okay, it's a shame because I'm kind of digging this potential for this fight scene.
Yeah.
No. I do like. I will give it this. I do like the art direction. I do think both Riot and Venom look good. They look good.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I really recommend also the audience to play the prototype games because they're chock full of this kind of thing.
I mean, it's clearly CGI, of course, but I think the CGI actually works for rather well.
Guys,
honestly.
He's like Venom,
I'm
but only
very tolerant
guys,
towards CGI, so I don't really mind.
Guys, he's like Venom, but only stronger. Why?
Who are you? I'm you, but stronger.
Seriously, why? Okay. Maybe you could say it's because...
Not to mention, Riot actually was one of the weaker symbionts.
Not only that...
In here, he's the strongest.
It makes no sense.
So
it really makes no sense. Eddie Brock is physically stronger than Carl Duketon. I can tell just by looking at them. That's part of why Venom was stronger than Spider-Man even with the symbiote.
Remember, Jova, they just established earlier, in this particular incarnation, Venom is considered a loser in this planet, so he's the weakling of the bunch.
Even still, though, they're not clear on what exactly makes them more powerful or whatnot, but okay.
I can do that.
He can. Just because.
And now would be the part where She-Venom comes in to help. Oh wait, no, they decided it's too dangerous. Venom can sometimes split off part of his symbiote to help empower some people, just saying. Guess not.
Does this count as symbiont sex? Jesus.
Not even if you paid me. What?
I have no idea what's going on.
Me neither.
Did he kill him? Did he... Oh, they merged.
They fused. Or no?
From the inside out. Or, never mind, I guess they did merge.
So it's even a prototype of hybrid?
I wonder if they're taking... Oh, the
The
song.
noise.
The
The
noise.
noise.
Hey, I'm doing
Drop the
something!
bass.
Yes, you could fight ugly by turning on a speaker. Something anyone could have done.
Don't you see, guys? She's such a strong woman.
No, look,
I'm not.
look.
It's not even that me.
You know, Jova. At least, Gwen did
Oh
something
my god,
more
and now they're
productive
literally
than Amazing
having a hand-to-hand fight. Why?
Jova, you have to give Amazing Spider-Man one this. At the very least, Gwen Stacy actually did genuinely help in that movie.
I'm not even comparing the two. Don't. Yeah, like I said, Carl is such a dweeb.
Thank you. More
that's my
no.
character.
More
no,
movies.
Eddie died.
More movies to stop the villain mid-sentence.
Wait,
Nobody
is
says
Riot
that.
on his own
No.
now, or did he manage to re-assimilate?
Nobody
with
talks
him?
like that in front of my friends.
No, he kept the ring. I guess he truly did. Yeah,
Yes,
he
I
loved.
totally believe that Eddie is dead.
I mean, he loved his wife, so what's even the point of that ring? Oh, I get it now. The reason he killed everyone was so that he himself could pilot the role.
Remember, Jova, like I said, like I already said too, all Venom needed was a friend.
You know, I get that whole thing, about the Venom symbiote being lonely. That's why it was so obsessed with Peter and whatnot. It's just, this could have been done better. Actually, no, it couldn't have just been done better. It needed to be done better.
Yes, I saw Star Wars Episode 7.
Wow, that's pretty sharp to rip through a rocket ship's hole.
Let me guess, that's how he dies, like explosion.
Fire.
There you go.
There you go.
No, my character! It's burning away every little morsel of it. I was so flushed out, going to have a... Yeah, whatever, I give up.
I can barely see shit.
Goodbye.
Oh, yes, I'm totally believing the Venom symbiote is dead.
Okay, this sort of harkens back to how the Venom symbiote, when Peter tried to separate from it, did have a small bout of mercy, where it noticed that it was killing both Peter when Peter tried to get it off of him with the church bells, and thus in its last bout before it seemingly died, pulled him to safety before crawling off and then eventually latching off to Eddie Brock. I can't tell if this is supposed to be a reference to that because, hey, Spider-Man's not even in this.
I haven't read personally Lethal Protector, so I don't know exactly if this particular event happens.
Yeah, and to be
too.
fair, when Venom was an anti-hero before Maximum Carnage, I believe he did spend his time in San Francisco. So that's why this is here. So what, we're supposed to believe that the symbiote's really dead?
Yeah, totally, guys.
Totally.
Yeah, because I'm to believe that a Sony superhero movie is totally gonna not leave things open for a sequel. So what, he and Annie are back together?
So there you go. The world is saved, I guess. And these two are not back together, but at the very least they're talking again.
Well, it's a step.
They're totally gonna get back together in the sequel, aren't they? Actually, what happened to the boyfriend?
The boyfriend just fell into a plot hole and he's no longer here.
The last we see him, he's in the hospital.
I thought she said she loved him very much, but I guess they had a falling out over that thing.
I'm really guessing it's another thing that was cut away because that looks like one of those things that Pedro mentioned about the pacing feeling off.
You know what? Screw it. I want to see a movie about these two being a Venom couple where they each take their turns with the symbiote and have hijinks with it. Sure, it would sound silly.
I don't.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah, just...
Sure it was.
Like, I am more tolerant towards different kind of kinks, but not this one.
Oh god, she liked it.
She liked it.
Oh god.
You know,
it's usually Lionsgate, the company, that it's more tied into this weird pervertic shit, not Sony.
What? Oh! Don't think so about what? What about Dan?
Dan is the boyfriend, I think.
Aw, hijinks.
There you go. Basically, was having an argument with Venom, because Venom is actually not dead.
And-
Ba-da-da.
And Venom was trying to do the whole "you belong with us" Annie. Has Venom been watching soap operas?
Apparently.
Hey, Stan!
Hey, Stan.
Oh God! Now I have. Now I have to agree.
This is actually his last live-action cameo.
Well,
No, remember, we still have the Endgame cameo, according to the
Oh,
roster.
okay.
it said that he's filmed quite a few cameos ahead of time.
Yeah,
Okay.
we still have a couple.
I think
We'll
what
see
Tia means
then.
is like, this was the last live action.
Here you go.
This music sounds a bit whimsical for a Venom movie, but you know what? Whatever.
There you go. So basically, the basic point is Venom is only allowed to eat bad people. Very, very bad people, yeah.
You know, I wonder if part of the reason they bumped this down to PG-13 was
Yeah, how does one tell the difference?
how?
Well, we're about to. There you go, Joe. We're about to get what you called earlier in the movie. So
Cucina Toscana, really?
You know, I have to wonder if the reason they bumped this down to PG-13 was because of how much whimsical scenes like this kind of clash with the whole R-rated
Oh,
tone.
and yeah, this was in the trailer. Why do trailers tend to spoil the best parts of movies, or general spoilers? Oh, apparently Venom likes chocolate. Good to know.
here you go. And now we're gonna get the line.
Hello.
Not we're gonna get both the iconic line and the turd in the wind line that became kind of a meme.
Oh, he's threatening him and not eating him right off the get-go. That probably read better than it actually sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we are Venom, yeah.
He said it. We can go home now.
On second thought, now we'll eat him still.
Thank you, I think.
Oh, yeah, hold on. Listen here.
So,
I have a parasite. That's gonna be our joke in these movies too. He has a
so,
parasite.
I get. Okay.
Let me guess. Oh, Venom doesn't like it, but he will eventually like it.
Wait.
My God, this is stupid.
The way I see it, we can do whatever we want. Blah, blah, blah.
How about
All right,
getting a
everybody.
job?
And now Eminem's Venom. No, I'm kidding. This is an original song done by Eminem called Venom.
I usually like Eminem, so I wouldn't mind. Is that what a way to try to make Eminem relevant again?
All right, stick around, everybody, because there's a mid-credit scene.
And let me guess, also an ending credit scene like in the MCU.
Okay, I'll do my Final Fantasy in the meantime because we're really quick. This is a mess. I had enjoyed it, parts of it, but I wouldn't definitely ever want to see this.
Oh
in
God,
theaters.
how much does Amy Pascal
not
regret
worth
having
it,
her name attached to this movie? I wonder.
Okay, keep going. I'm guessing much too. Joe, go ahead too.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I really think this movie just doesn't work. Tom Hardy's performance is all over the place. The sequence of events and the pacing is just feeling off because of the cut things, and it shows. But most of all, it's the whole setting and what we do with the movie. Because even when the movie tries to be over the top and take itself less seriously, the setting counters this by looking boring. This movie looks boring, and for a comic book, it's not right. A comic book can be look colorful or it can be look dark, but there are stylistics to that, and this movie clearly does not know how to do it. These credits are fine. I like the fight scene at the end. That's kind of how I would visualize a fight scene between symbiotes with the whole merging thing. But aside from that, most of the movies just doesn't work for me.
And I do like the art direction. I do like how.
Yeah. Venom itself looks like what Venom should look in a movie.
It's
honestly.
the typical
It's spot on. Obviously, it doesn't have the spider emblem on the chest, but that's for the obvious reasons.
It's the typical MO of a Sony movie. Have great, sometimes even outstanding visuals, but everything else about the movie be crud.
Very surprised for the lack of product placement. Aside from the PS4, I haven't seen any particular Sony recognizable product placement.
All right, so here's the mid-credit scene.
Where
All right,
Norman Osborn asked Venom to join the Dark Avengers.
It's not the raft, but it's San Quentin reason.
All right, Jova, now you're finally going to get what you were asking about.
Oh, Jova.
I'm gonna see Venom dancing with himself?
No.
No, you're going to get Carnage.
Although Jova, yeah, Carnage is usually locked up either in the raft or in the Ravencroft Institute.
Which are both in New York, but since I guess this is gonna be in San Francisco, here's
all right. Take a wild guess. Take a wild guess who plays them.
Jesse Eisenberg.
No, he's already attached to Warner Brothers at this point too. So. It's an actor that doesn't really feel like right. Like, why would you cast him as Carnage? Why him?
Woody Harrelson?
Very good, Jova.
Wait, what?
Why Woody Harrelson?
Woody Harrelson is in his 50s. Carnage is young.
Well, Cletus is young, technically.
Yeah, Cletus. Sorry, Cletus Cassidy is a young person.
So, how does he know this guy?
That's the thing, Jova. They don't explain it. He's just here to interview him for some reason.
Hello.
There he is.
Oh, it looks so unconvincing. That's clearly a wig.
Yeah, again, why Woody Harrelson as... Why? It's such a weird casting choice.
I've seen Silence of the Lambs.
So, did he get his job back as a reporter?
Apparently, but sorry, Jova, we don't have time to explain things.
We're using the Tintin approach.
Also, there's Jesus, there's nearly 20 minutes left. Either this scene is long or the scene after the credits that come after this are even longer.
I'm guessing the credits are longer.
I didn't stick around in the theater for it until the very end of the credits because I didn't really care. I just saw this one and then I left. There's gonna be Carnage! He said it!
Okay.
That's it.
Do I
Look
even...
forward to the sequel. Alright, let me check if there's a natural proper after credit scene.
I've heard that there's...
Oh, there's a trailer for Into the Spider-Verse at the end of this.
I've also heard that
Makes
there's
sense.
also another after credit scene as well involving...
Wikipedia doesn't say anything. Whatever.
No, there is no after credit scene. There's just that Spider-Verse trailer. Which
Hold on,
aside
let me
from
check.
Yeah, in the meantime, I'll continue. Aside from the Eminem song, it's fine. The Eminem song is fine. The rest of the score is just forgettable, and in some cases, weird. What else? The supporting characters, they suck. Like the villain, it sucks. Most plot elements are forgotten because of the cut thing. The violence is so toned down, it's not even funny. This is just a mess, honestly. I have no idea. Aside from popularity of the character alone, I have no idea how this movie managed to gross this much because... honestly, while I think it has funny moments, I don't think it's justified enough to purchase a movie ticket, a cinema ticket for it. I don't know.
That's the
Whatever.
thing.
Like,
I think most movie audiences have less standards for what they think they should expend their money on.
I know. And I'm guessing Sony did that trick of premiere movie that Chris Tuckman mentioned, where they screen like 2 or 3 shows of a movie for free to the random people they pass in front of the theaters. So, and they allow these to spread words. So the people that they usually recruit are not that, analytical. And that's it. Whatever.
Is it too early for me to consider it a crime that this movie so far has done better financially than Into the Spider-Verse?
I mean, for comparison, it's not the worst comic book movie that I've seen, but it's still one of the worst. And I'm sorry that a lot of good people like Tom Hardy are associated with this. Next.
I guess I'll go next. Good lord. This movie is even more of a mess than I initially thought it would. I think the sad thing is yes, this movie did financially succeed. The thing is unless they really revamp things up, and knowing Sony, they likely won't. Oh, you know what? I'll start off with why I'm worried about it. To sum it up, this movie did not feel like the worst, but I think the only reason people find it so bad that it's good is because this movie is in a weird sense of balance, but also imbalance, in that it just manages to hit the right balance of absurd, whimsical, and just downright stupid to be considered so fun that it's bad. The problem is that this feels like a very unstable formula, to the point where, imagine the sequel. Even if the sequel tries to be better, I can see the sequel easily losing a lot of the fun factor, because the sequel could very well just be dull and bad. And this movie is barely so... I wouldn't even call it so bad that it's good.
That post-credit scene with Carnage did not convince me for the better.
It's like, holy cow. Okay, Troll 2 is an infamous movie because as a sequel, it's the insanely so bad that it's good.
Actually, I don't even think there was a Troll 1, Jova, for that. It's a topic for another day, so continue.
The main thing, okay. I'll start from the beginning. Like I said, this movie has a weird sense of imbalance. Like, it doesn't even feel like they were intentionally trying to go for these so bad it's good. Like, one minute it feels like they are trying to tell a semblance of a story, then it feels like they're telling another story, and then another story, and then another, and another. Plot points come and go. Characters come and go. The villain is sadly here to stay for the majority of the film. Oh wait, never mind, there's also this other villain. So, this just begs the question. If Riot was trying to do this, why were none of the other symbiotes in captivity supposedly trying to do this? Unless there was...
I'm guessing one of the things that the original cuts of the movie had was the other four also showing up and either being assimilated by Riot or just dispersing away, maybe.
We know there's at least 2 others that were shown in the movie. And I'm pretty sure they mentioned
honestly,
more.
I'm pretty sure there are other 3, which are the other 3 guys, Agony, Legion, Phaser, whatever it's called, which will eventually unite as hybrid. But the problem is that you killed Riot at the end of this movie, so what you gonna do now?
Screaming Carnage?
I guess, yeah.
But yeah, again, I think the thing that definitely hurts this movie the most is just how it feels like a hodgepodge of everything. Like, the first 30 minutes feel like... Yeah, that's the thing. Every minute of this movie feels rushed. How weird for a 2-hour movie, though I guess it's less than 2 hours if we're not counting the credits. But I mean, it feels like every single thing is rushed, and sometimes it's hard to enjoy because of how rushed it feels. Like, seriously, we got an awesome scene of She-Venom, and I'm thinking, okay, you don't have to do the same thing as the comics because, well, those were the comics. But no, it's like they write off that potential. It's like, she says, I can fight dirty, and I'm like, yeah, you can fight dirty but with the symbiote, but it's not like they couldn't write in something to give her some symbiote abilities for the fight. But hey, what she does is that she presses a siren that gives Venom the ability to fight Riot, I guess.
Ooh.
Holy cow. Okay, it's hard to even reassemble this plot, to recap it. Like, we start off the first 30 minutes, Eddie wants to expose all these companies, gets fired, loses his love interest, his fiancée, to another guy. But don't worry, by the end it's pretty much hinted that they're gonna get back together, of course. So, he makes his friend in the industry who he thinks is gonna be around, but nope, she's cannon fodder. I mean, sure, she helps him get in, but... well, in a way that he's completely an idiot, he gets, of course, infected with the symbiote. And then it's whimsy here, but he's also tracked down by the big bad military. And then eventually it's his wife telling him what to do after... oh god, I just realized. Him leaving the evidence for his boss? Yeah, that never came back into play.
Yep.
That's the thing. It feels like this movie wastes a lot of time in stuff that goes nowhere, which is a shame because that's time that could have been better spent. Again, Riot could have easily have just been one of the symbiotes in captivity. You didn't need to waste time with him making his way to San Francisco and all that stuff. In fact, why did it even have to be with San Francisco? I'm pretty sure there are plenty of other places that have a rocket site or whatnot. We're never gonna get an explanation for that. Are we?
Nope.
Like I said, so many plot points are brought up and never even finished. Like, it's messy. It's so sloppy. What makes this entertaining is Venom. Well, that, and again, some of the actually pretty cool fight scenes or whatnot. But that's the thing. I'd have rather the movie have been more of that than when it tries to be all pretentious with trying to flesh out its quote-unquote characters. Because there are so many ways you could have fleshed out these characters, but they clearly chose not to. Like, the villain guy is just, I think humans are weak, so I want to make them better. That's pretty much it. The doctor is like, hey, I'm okay with doing these until somebody obviously dies, and I'm completely against this. And she didn't think to go to any other authorities.
Yeah, no one alerts the police in this movie.
You know, that's a surprising thing, actually. Venom has to deal with the police less than Spider-Man does. And Venom actually does brutally kill people. Jesus.
Usually all the things that Venom fights are the squad of the bad guy's company, not the police.
I guess he fights the SWAT team, who are
Well,
technically
the SWAT team
police.
is weird because it looks like it is like a police team, but instead, like they are being sent still by the bad guy or something.
And then
confusing.
And then I have to wonder, hey, Annie, even though you had a weird few seconds of Venom, She-Venom, is Annie completely okay with the fact that she did bite a guy's head off? She literally says that, and it's like, hey, you'll get over it, and we're just back from that. Like, look, you want to have a more happy-go-lucky Venom? That's fine. But maybe putting a line saying that they are clearly now insane and just dealing with it, it's like they treat this like things are A-okay fine. I mean, part of Venom's thing is that he is constantly in struggle with it. And again, maybe if Venom itself... Oh my god, I almost forgot. Even the symbiote itself has a terrible arc. Like, you know, if they just had the symbiote be a mindless thing that could be easily manipulated by the person it was bonded to, that's fine. But no, it's hinted that this is a more mature symbiote, so it has to have its own character arc. One of the most rushed character arcs I've ever seen. Hey, I'm a dick. I want to get off this planet. Oh, wait, no, I bonded with you. The city looks beautiful because I see it from the top and all the city lights, and humans may not be so bad even though I still need to eat them. You changed me, Eddie. But I didn't do anything.
It's like Jova said earlier, like they're literally rushing through it in front of us. They literally go from remember the last scene we saw was Eddie saying, "We're done. You were trying to kill me," all that shit. And then the moment they get back together, suddenly they're buddy buddies.
I mean, I think this feels like an origin film that's literally saying, okay, we're just taking off the checklist, and then we'll actually get to the real superheroics in the sequel with the villains you more so recognize. Which, yeah, okay, some of the MCU films did it. Back when, you know, the MCU was in its infancy and people critique that now to this day, but okay, maybe you could have made something work out of it. Oh wait, no, you didn't. I mean, maybe the sequel will be more fun, and I am not holding my breath on it. Like, oh god. Back to the quote-unquote plot here. Yeah, the symbiote is now nice, but there's this other symbiote who's a jerk, and yeah, are we going to address the fact that there's all these symbiotes out there that might want to come to Earth? I guess they won't know because their troops never came back. So is there an entire lore about symbiotes that you're clearly saying that there is but are not going to tell us about? That's nice.
Like I said, Jova, they want to tease for the flight of the symbiotes.
Meanwhile, in another universe, oh my god, they're actually acknowledging it's another universe.
In case you don't have it on your copy phones, there is a trailer for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yep.
I love how they cap it up by saying it's in another universe, like they're hinting at, yeah, Venom is somehow tied to, oh god, they're gonna reference Venom in the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse.
Like I said, Jova, Marvel treats everything as canon, so technically speaking, this Venom movie, technically has a continuity of its own.
How much you want to bet it's going to show up in the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse, since they confirmed there's going to be a sequel for Into the Spider-Verse?
I wouldn't be surprised at.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, oh god, where was I? Oh yeah, and meanwhile, again, Annie. What the heck, Annie? Like, Annie is... I first thought she was just going to be your typical love interest who falls out of love because obviously he betrayed her trust at all, but even she comes around way too easily. Well, not so much she comes around to way too easily, she deals with the insane stuff way too easily. It's like, yeah, Eddie, I know I just saw you brutally almost kill some people, but I can still tell you what to do because I wear the pants in this relationship. So, yeah, there's this and that. The boyfriend is probably going to
Is
get dumped
there?
off screen anyway. Oh yeah, there was a poodle.
Yeah.
I mean, no, not a poodle, but there was a dog who got assimilated by Venom. But
His main contribution to the plot was saying that Eddie's organs were behaving abnormally. That was his best. That was his greatest contribution to this plot.
I so look forward to Shiri when she gets regenerations of it, just to the reaction to the dog.
oh, that too. You know, I'm sorry if my final thoughts seem a bit jumbled, folks, but that's because the plot of
that's how
this
the
movie
movie
is so jumbled up. Like, you know, I've heard of tonal inconsistency. This movie has inconsistency in more than just its tone. It has inconsistency in its plot, its writing, its characters, even the world it's set in. Jesus Christ. Into the Spider-Verse, which we're seeing a preview of right now,
like an
feels more
amalgamation. This
contained.
is like an amalgamation of many different scripts jumbled together.
Which is kind of is, remember, Pedro, 3 screenplays and 2 writers.
Maybe.
So, yeah.
And the sad thing is that there are points where I did have legit fun with Venom. You know, again, the banter between Venom or whatnot. Eddie, when he actually is talking nice with his wife or fiance, I keep calling her wife because they're married in the comics, but whatever, they're probably going to get married in the sequel anyway. Eddie with his ex-fiance, let's say, you know, when they have all these comical debates or whatnot, those are legit funny points. And, you know, you can have whimsical, funny stuff in a Venom movie. Yes, I know it sounds weird on paper, but Venom can have a sense of dark humor or even whimsical humor. The problem is that the movie can't seem to decide on even that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I slightly do have to wonder if the reason they bumped it down to PG-13 was because of the more whimsical moments, and how people probably wouldn't see that coming in an R-rated movie. Unless that R-rated movie is, say, Deadpool, but that's Deadpool.
Yeah.
Again, I think...
Yeah, I had much more enjoyment with this trailer than the entire movie.
I know, right? To be
Jesus
continued. Spoilers, the movie's awesome.
Go see it.
Oh, there's even more credits after the after credits
It's
scene?
the last one. It's the last one. Copyrighted by Sony, blah, blah, blah.
Whatever, doesn't matter.
Oh.
This was actually filmed also in Atlanta. Huh.
Nice.
Yeah. All this and that. But yeah. Again, my biggest problem with this movie is that they could have had a legit good superhero flick here, but so many things went wrong, and it just feels sad to see a lot of the good stuff be such wasted potential. Venom looks great in this movie. The fight scenes are done
it's kind
great.
of similar to the Spawn movie. The Spawn movie is bad, but the makeup they use for Spawn and the villain is actually great, and it feels kind of a waste as a result.
And there actually are points in this movie where I think, you know, this take on Eddie Brock and Venom actually could work, if it didn't contradict how they acted a number of minutes ago, with no rhyme or reason. Overall, though, this movie made money, so whether or not we get a sequel, pray to God Sony actually grow a clue with this.
I'm guessing they won't. They've had plenty of
Yeah,
time.
remember,
They've had-
Jova,
They had plenty of
whatever.
time to do so, and
There was a spark of goodness in the first Amazing Spider-Man movie, and Sony managed to fuck that up.
To sum up my thoughts, there are glimmers in the dark of a good movie here. The problem is that, at best, this movie is so bad that it's good, and it barely reaches that with me. And it feels like it's done by accident. Like, it feels like it barely reaches that mark. Like, it's bad when your greatest achievement, being so bad that it's good, feels like you barely made it there. And it just makes me feel like they won't even make it to that in the sequel. Alright then, Pedro, your final thoughts.
I mean, at this point, you guys said everything. This movie's a complete garbled mess of many different things, and it doesn't work at all. Like there are some good jokes, and like Venom and Riot look really good, and the movie is at the very least not boring. It's not like a complete offense or anything like that. It's just
It has some boring moments, like the first 30 minutes.
oh yeah, the first
the cringe of a restaurant scene.
yeah.
Oh,
the first
God, I
act.
forgot about that.
The first act is fairly boring, but fortunately, when Venom hits the scene, things become a lot more entertaining. And I do legit enjoy Eddie Brock's Venom voice. That sounds pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the movie's a complete mess that doesn't work. It's totally consistent. The plot is a complete Frankenstein monster of a script that doesn't feel like it was made by one unified vision. Like
Like
it's
it
a
was
movie that's
made by a hybrid, would you say?
yeah. Not to mention, yeah, like those 40 minutes. Like, I really want to see those 40 minutes.
I'm actually
because,
surprised we haven't gotten a director's cut involving the cut footage.
I get the feeling that there was, at the very least, maybe not a great movie or anything all that good, mind you, but I get the feeling that there was a somewhat more decent movie somewhere in here before Sony destroyed it with that 40-minute cut. I mean, I get the feeling a lot of these inconsistencies maybe were solved better.
Tom
in
Hardy
that
did say that the 40 minutes were apparently the best things that would have helped the movie.
Keep in mind, folks, the director's cut did not save a movie like Batman v Superman, but I think this is a case where at least it would have made the product better.
It would, like, because unlike with Batman, like I was saying earlier, unlike Batman v Superman was a movie that was just flawed by the very concept in general. No amount of deleted scenes could have saved that thing. This movie, on the other hand, it's so much more blatant when there's scenes missing.
Like, for as much as I was worried about a different take on Venom, the ideas presented here are pretty good to have a more anti-hero take on Venom. The problem is that, like Pedro said, it lacks facilitation.
Exactly. So, yeah, where are those 40 minutes, Sony?
Again, why haven't they sold a director's cut of it at this point? Are they just embarrassed by what Tom Hardy said?
I guess.
Unless it's Avi Arad trying to say that this vision is perfect already.
Or maybe at this point, my guess is just that they don't care anymore. It made money, so now they're just going full for the sequel and whatever.
Wow,
so, yeah,
that was a crime scene of a movie.
That was the Venom movie, and Sony continues to screw up Spider-Man, unless, fortunately, Chris and Phil came in and saved their heart of Spider-Verse. Like, I mean, seriously.
Yeah, like, people were legit scared about how Spider-Verse was going to turn out because of Sony.
No, that's a thing, Joe. But the only way this company seems to be able to make a good movie is if they get outside people who don't even work there.
Yeah,
because Phil Lord and Chris Miller are mostly associated with Warner Brothers. Not Sony. Like, this was basically like a passion. The Spider-Verse was a passion project from Phil and Chris, and it was one of those things where Sony got so desperate. Okay, fine, just make the Spider-Man movie you want. We won't meddle in. Just do whatever. We'll have Venom coming in anyway, where we'll be able to do everything that Avi wants.
This is why I'm hoping Into the Spider-Verse makes more money than Venom, because if Into the Spider-Verse makes less money than Venom, you know how Sony tend to overreact to monetary gains or whatnot.
Yeah, I'm seriously fearful that there's not going to be a sequel to Spider-Verse, sadly, but we'll see how things go. So yeah, that was the Venom movie, everybody.
What a wild, disorienting, stupid, crazy ride.
Yeah,
I know, right?
I want a refund, even though I did not pay anything.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Tune in next time for maybe Spider-Verse. We'll see.
And of course, the inevitable Generations, where we bring on the Brits for this one.
Yes, Dwebs actually saw this one in theaters like me, but Shirei has no idea what she's in for. So,
yeah.
Tune in for that.